Alright, hey guys, what's up? Dark Sparks here, bringing you some more Space Marine stuff. This time it's not news, but rather kind of a follow-up to my Space Marines video, which back during the Obelisk update, the hallmark of that update, at least in my opinion, was the fact that we could change the lens colors on our classes, and that right there gave me the immediate idea that I can finally make a Grey Knight. Now, fast forward to this update, with the Hellbrood and everything, the coolest part about this particular update is the fact that we can now use champion armor pieces. So if you have some of the champion cosmetic packs, you can now use those individual pieces and even further customize your classes even further. The only caveat to it is because they're armor specific, or not armor specific, they're class specific. Like for example, what you're looking at here, the Salamander Champion, you can only use parts of the Salamander Champion on the Vanguard because they both share the same armor pattern, which is the Phobos armor. And for the Heavy uses Gravis armor. However, they did allow us to use the gauntlets from the Heavy's Ultramarine pack, or Ultramarine Champion pack. We can actually use them across the board. I think you can also use them for the Vanguard as well. But that's the only piece that you can use from the Heavy's Ultramarine pack is just the gauntlets alone. So I decided to finally go ahead and do the follow-up to my Grey Knights video and actually try and create a Grey Knight champion. I'm also going to include a Salamander champion. These have already been pre-made. I'm just going to show you what I used and what DLC packs you'll need to make these champions. I only did a Grey Knight champion and a Salamander champion for my Tactical Marine, and I also made a Grey Knight champion for my Bulwark. And I did do some updates to the Heavy, and then I'll actually use this video as an opportunity to kind of just finish the Heavy, kind of make him a little bit more champion-ish. When it comes down to making a champion, you don't necessarily have to make them look all out, like completely decked out in bling and all that, and give them all the regalia pieces that you can possibly make. But you know what? That's kind of the point. They're champions, they're high-ranking Space Marines. Make them stand out. So for now, we're actually going to move over to my Tactical Marine. We're going to start with the Tactical Marine, then we'll move over to the Bulwark, and then Heavy, and then we'll go back to Tactical Marine to look at my best interpretation of a Salamander Champion. I can also possibly do a Salamander Champion for the Bulwark and possibly turn him into a Horus. I think he's a Horus Heresy era champion, Salamander Champion, Forge Master, or Forge, I think it's Forge Father to Ket. But anyway, so I'll just quickly show you the items I used to make my Grey Knight champion. And my Grey Knight preset, I believe, is this guy right here. And then we'll just move over to the Grey Knight preset I have. That's not the wrong one, or that's not the right one. There he is. Okay, so this is my attempt at making a Grey Knight champion. I'll just quickly run down the armor that was used for it. And this one's actually pretty simple. All you really need is the Iron Fist champion pack, because you'll need the torso, the helmet, and the pauldron. The helmet is pretty much almost almost one for one. I mean, the helmet, the entire armor pattern that Grey Knights use are Aegis armor, but the helmet itself, it's very pronounced, almost like the Grey Knights. So I figured it's actually possibly a better choice to use. So it's the Imperial Fist champion helmet, the Imperial Fist chest piece, and then the pauldron, also Imperial Fist, and then the leg as well, also Imperial Fist. This one I wanted to kind of make straightforward, so that way it's not too taxing on kind of the requirements, at least if you wanted to make it how I made it. I mean, obviously it's just interpret it, make a champion however you want it to. This is just kind of like my interpretation of a champion, of a Grey Knight champion. Make him look a little, kind of make him stand out a bit. One of the caveats though to the color scheme in particular is the pauldron for the Iron Fist champion. You cannot color the regalia pieces on it. You can only color the little trinket that it comes with. The tilt shield also is not colorable. That is its default color scheme. The only thing you can color on it is the pauldron piece itself, the secondary color. That's all you can change to it. So I decided to color it red. And now for the other pauldron piece, I just went with the standard pauldron piece that's available for the Tactical Marine as part of his armory progression. So you don't need DLC for that. Just have a fully ranked up Tactical Marine. And you know, there are some other choices. I also like this one too, because the emblem on this one is pretty much the same as the Grey Knights, which is a sword and a shield type thing. But I kind of wanted to go for this. There's also this one too, the Death Watch pauldron, just because of the fact that it has, well, it's got a skull on it, but I mean, obviously that's the Death Watch emblem, but it's all the lettering on the inside too, the engraving basically. This is actually used a lot of times on Grey Knights, so this is also passable. I mean, I kind of just wanted to go for this because I wanted to give him a fully red pauldron, so both the primary and secondary color are red. Now, as for the trim pieces, I went with Rune Lord Brass. I just like the more matted look of it. It's a more matted gold as opposed to just the bright gold. Everything else is pretty much a bog standard tactical marine, except for the gauntlets and the pauldron too. The left pauldron, sorry. So power pack, left pauldron, left leg is all vanilla tactical marine. Everything else is either from Ordeals or the Iron Fist Champion pack, or in the case of the left gauntlet, Ultramarines Champion pack. So there's the left gauntlet right there, Ultramarines Champion. For the right gauntlet, it's the Inquisition insignia. This is actually part of the Ordeals. And I went with this because Grey Knights in particular actually are an arm of the Inquisition. So this makes perfect sense to use with them. And I mean, obviously it's a pretty cool armor piece. I've been using it pretty much on every single class. It looks so badass. I love the tilt shield on it. It's wrapped around a little chain. I think that's just a trinket. And then of course, you know, there's another tilt shield right here on the pauldron. So this is that's a pretty beefy looking combination right there. And then for the war gear, I went with this version of the belt because it has a front and right. It has a front and rear cloth piece, so that way it kind of makes it stand out a little bit more, and it's red by default. It would be nice to color these, but it is what it is, and the red kind of fits the whole theme of the Grey Knight. And then of course I colored the helmet white. And another cool thing too, in particular with the Iron Fist Champion, is you actually get two versions of the Iron Fist Champion helmet, one with the headpiece and one without. I opted to go without the headpiece because that particular headpiece, it's too, I don't know, I think it has too much of a Roman look to it, and Grey Knights have a very knightly Templar type look to them. They're very knightly, so I wanted to make him look more like an actual knight. The biggest thing that I chose for picking the Imperial Fist chest piece is because of these side plates here. Like, look how meaty these side plates here, and then look at every other piece. You can see here those side plates, they never change unless it's the Imperial Fists version, which kind of sucks because there's a lot of good looking pieces here. I would love to use this piece in particular, the Relic Guard. I just have to get some accolades. I think I'm almost close to unlocking my first relic piece, but I think I'm gonna get the that Necron sword. I forget what it's called, but this is a good looking chest piece. But I opted for this just because I love the fact that it actually details these side plates, makes them nice and meaty, makes it look a little bit more armored. So that is my tactical marine, or my Grey Knight Champion as a tactical marine. Now let's move over to Bulwark, and Bulwark is already preset, ready to go. And there you go, pretty similar, but there are a couple of differences. I actually love the way my Grey Knight Bulwark looks as opposed to my tactical marine. And I think it comes down to the fact that it's the chest piece. It's a Bulwark specific chest piece. Let's run down it. I also went with the white colored helmet for my Grey Knight Champions because if you look at a lot of kit bash Grey Knight pieces, as well as there's also some official lore for Grey Knights, some of the higher ranking Grey Knights actually do have a white colored helmet. I don't think they use anything besides white if they were to go for a different color besides gray. So I think their only other color is white. But I think white is a good fit for a Grey Knight, a white helmet. It does show their standing within their chapter, and it just looks amazing. I think this one came out even better. Now for the pieces that you're gonna need, you are still gonna obviously need the Iron Fist DLC pack, the Champion pack, but you're also gonna need the Dark Angels Champion pack as well, because I'm using the pauldron here from the Dark Angels Champion. Actually, no, I think that's the cosmetic. Is it? Dark Angels Champion. No, you'll need the actual champion skin to use the pauldron here. And then of course the pauldron, the right pauldron, again, Iron Fist Champion. I'm using the Inquisition insignia gauntlet. The power pack is vanilla Bulwark power pack, but I also like the fact too that it has some purity seals on it. Again, purity seals is a really big thing for Grey Knights. That's why I also chose this particular chest piece, and I'll show you my other option. One, because I do love this nice long purity seal here and that tilt shield with the skull in it, really amazing. But I also have I had a secondary choice. This, not this one, but I quickly wanted to show something with this one too, Mataris' shield. Oh, and by the way, this update also allowed the Twitch drops. So past Twitch drops, if you guys weren't able to participate in Twitch drops, you can now use acolytes and unlock previous Twitch drops. So if you didn't get around to unlocking Mataris' armor set, like the chest piece, his halo, and what was the other piece? I think there was like one more piece of Mataris' thing. You now have the option to finally grind for that stuff. And I was gonna initially use this because I do love the two little purity seals on the breastplate or on the tilt shield. The tilt shield also has the color scheme for the Grey Knights, and it has a nice red cloth piece. And it's the cloth piece on Mataris's armor is actually red by default. The one thing I chose not to do this is because the cloth piece is not on the rear, and I really wanted the rear to kind of stand out a little bit more. So I went up and went with my first option, which was this. Plus, when you look at the belt as well, the belt has a little bit more going for it as far as details go. It's got the shield, it's got the two skulls trinket. These are both trinkets actually. And the side plates also have little skulls on them as opposed to Mataris's, which is the side plates are just simple. So this one is a little bit more detailed. This is actually my revised version. My original version, I actually had this. Again, tilt shield, purity seal, Grey Knight themed colors on the tilt shield, including the primary color being gray, but also because I love the fact that since we can color the robes too, I changed the robes to red, and it looks so good with the white helmet, the gray in the background, and the red. Why I didn't choose to go with this, I'm not too sure. I think it might be because there's way too much red, and red is more of a secondary color for Grey Knights, as their primary color is gray. And you know what? When I changed the cloth to gray, it just didn't really work. But it still is a pretty good looking option. I mean, but then again, you don't have to follow the lore like I'm trying to. So if you want to use this as part of a Grey Knight champion, I mean, go for it. It still looks amazing. But I ended up going up with this piece again because the purity seals, the chest plate or the tilt shield with the skulls on it, the skulls on the side plates, and then of course it has a rear facing cloth. It has a rear cloth piece as well, so it kind of accents the rear as well of the armor piece. Oh, and then by the way, there's another trinket piece on this particular belt piece, and this is a vanilla chest piece for the bulwark. And then of course for the legs, I think the legs is vanilla. Yep, it's a vanilla bulwark. This is also Iron Fist Champion, if I believe. Yeah, Iron Fist Champion. And then for the pauldron, I colored the entire pauldron red, so that I kind of want to like keep a theme with my champions in particular. And what makes this pretty cool is the regalia piece, so the emblem and the nameplate here on the pauldron, those are not colorable, those are default colors, and they still work. And then of course, again, for my trim pieces, instead of using gold, I used Rune Lord brass. And you know what, this guy came out pretty cool. And oh yeah, I'm also using Ultramarines Champion Gauntlet. And another cool thing too is if you kind of want to make him stand out a little bit more, I mean, this helmet in particular, some Grey Knights use a pattern that's very similar to this particular helmet. There's also another helmet that was released with this update that's very similar. Yeah, it's that piece there. I actually don't have that unlocked. I think this is a Accolades. It's very close to some pattern helmets I've seen. I think there's still Aegis pattern. I'm not too sure. And then of course, you know, if you wanted to, you could use the Space Wolves helmet. That's also pretty cool. But I opted to go with the Iron Fist Champion helmet. Again, there is the option to use the headpiece. This particular headpiece does not fit with a Grey Knight. I kind of wanted to use this helmet, but feathers is also not a particular thing that Grey Knights will accent their armor with. All right, that is the Grey Knight Bulwark. Now we'll move on to the heavy. We'll actually finish up the heavy too, and then I'll show you kind of my version of a Salamander Champion for the Tactical Marine. So here's my heavy. Not much has been done to it. I did kind of change a couple things up. The first thing I did was I swapped out one of the leg pieces, and now he's using the Ultramarines Champion Greave, which actually looks pretty cool, and it does fit. It's well within theme for a Grey Knight. I did not change anything else with him because the heavy in particular has some amazing looking armor once you've unlocked the his full armor progression. The thing I love about his vanilla, this is like the I think when you reach max rank with the Grey Knight, I think, or getting like 25 wins in operations or something, you unlock this. The side plates on this thing are also highly detailed, and I just couldn't find I couldn't see myself switching to any other breastplate because look how bland every other plate is. This one's pretty cool because, you know, got ammo patches and all that, but this one I think just fits perfectly. And of course, it also gives me that tilt shield, and it gives me the perfect color combination. This one also has it, but not as detailed, and I just like the fact that the collar piece has a lot of flair to it. It's highly gilded out as opposed to this, so I went with this option. The only thing I'm going to do here, oh, and one other thing too, is I wanted to keep it more in theme with the fact that, you know, purity seals is a big Grey Knight thing. So this gauntlet piece here is just a standard vanilla piece for the heavy. I did swap out the helmet, so the helmet is now the Ultramarines helmet piece, What's kind of strange is the Ultramarines helmet piece, they only give you one version of it, and this is the version without the headpiece. You don't get the other version of it. What's also strange too is I don't have the Ultramarines skin. You can see it's locked, and you know, I'm fine with it, but you know, it's cool. I mean, you can actually still make your own heavy with the Ultramarines Champion skin and recolor it too, because when I look at it, I don't like blue and green. That's kind of an iffy color option or color scheme for me. So all I'm gonna do here, because I don't know if you've noticed yet, his helmet is gray. So let's just quickly change that to white, and there we go. Now he kind of has a little bit more, he looks a little bit more high ranking of a Grey Knight, right? So there you go. Not much was changed to him. I did not want to change out this pauldron here because I do like the cloth piece on this pauldron. The other thing too is I actually can't use my Imperial Fist Champion armor on, at least for the pauldrons, because again, this is Gravis armor. So I cannot use Tacitus armor or Tacticus armor, however you want to pronounce it. I've always pronounced it as Tacitus armor. I'll quickly scroll through here and you'll see I do not have that pauldron available from the Iron Fist Champion, which does suck, but you know, it is what it is. I do like this cloth piece anyway. So there you have it. Those are my Ultramarines. Those are my Grey Knight champions. Now let's quickly go back to the Tactical Marine, and I'll show you kind of my interpretation of a Salamander Champion. Again, it's just I had to work with what I had. Not very many options to choose from, but I did what I could to try and make him at least kind of stand out. So here he is. This is kind of my interpretation of a Salamander Champion. Still has plenty of gilded options as far as the armor goes. There are some slight changes I made to the armor. First off, the helmet. This helmet in particular is actually from the Blood Angels cosmetic pack, so you are going to need that if you want the bionic eye. The pauldron here, that's actually the Siege pauldron, so I think you have to complete 25 waves in total. It is progressive. It's not complete 25 waves in one game session, so you don't have to worry about that. It's a pretty easy pauldron to get, and it looks pretty cool too when you start customizing it. The pauldron on the right is the same left pauldron, sorry, is the same pauldron I use. Basically, I mean, it's the coolest looking pauldron piece for the Tactical Marine. Nice and bulky, pretty gilded, and I just love the fact that it just says Imperium on it. Chest piece, I went and stuck with the Imperial Fist Champion armor piece again because I just love those side plates here. I kind of wish we had more side plates from the other armor pieces, kind of more tricked out and such, but it kind of is what it is. I originally wanted to use White Scar's Champion breastplate. For some reason, only the Assault Marine's actual champion skin, the White Scar's champion skin for the Assault Marine, will give you the curved sword. It kind of sucks. I kind of like that sword piece, but you don't get it for any other Marine except for the Assault Marine, which kind of sucks. For the leg piece, again, it's still Imperial Fist. I just love how detailed it is. Plus, on the Tactical Marine in particular, you get these added little lightning plate things. You don't get this on any of the other classes, which is kind of strange. And then I also added the flame pattern and colored it gold. Just, again, kind of make him stand out a bit. The flame pattern, you are going to need the Salamander's Champion. I think it was part of the Salamander's Champion cosmetic, or I think it was vanilla. I think it might have been vanilla. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've unlocked any of the decals. And then the other leg piece, it's standard. It's just a vanilla Tactical Marine. The belt, I did switch out. Instead of having this, I went with this because I do like the chainmail look. I think it fits a little bit more with the Salamander, and I think for some reason whenever I think chainmail I think fire, so I don't know, that's kind of a weird thought process. The gauntlets are basically the same. Ultramarines gauntlet for the left gauntlet, right gauntlet again Imperialis Signa, the Imperial, what's it called again? Inquisition insignia for that gauntlet. Again, it's just a really cool, highly detailed gauntlet, and I just love the way it looks. And then to kind of elevate him a bit as a Salamander, I changed the color of the lens to red. I think it's Mephiston red over Evil Sun Scarlet, or Evil Sun, yeah, Evil Sun Scarlet. It's not as a bright red, not as bright of a red. It's kind of more of a muted red. And then I colored the helmet to white. Salamanders actually use a white colored helmet. It's actually kind of common in their ranks. I'm not too familiar with Salamander lore, so I don't know what a white helmet signifies. I don't know if it's rank related or if it's specific to like a specific company or something, but I just went with it because white is a good contrasting color for green, even though white technically isn't a color. But anyway, And then, of course, for the power pack, I used the Salamander Champion emblem for the power pack. This is the only thing that carries over from the Salamander Champion skin for the sniper. So this can actually be used on any class, which is actually pretty cool, except for the Gravis armor, again, just because it's Gravis themed armor. But those are my champions. 3 Grey Knight champions, and then 1 kind of Salamander champion. I did my best. I wanted him to make him look as gilded as possible, because when I see some of these salamanders, the higher ranking ones, a lot of them are just decked out in green and gold. Some of them with black helmets, some of them with white helmets. I think there was even a couple out there I saw that have red helmets too. I didn't know that they actually had red colored helmets. But either way, hope you enjoyed this video. Stick around for more Space Marine stuff. I'm going to be covering the rest of the stuff in this update. Hopefully I get a chance to play as the Hellbrute, although I have not been playing multiplayer a whole lot, because I'm kind of trash right now in multiplayer just because of how long I've not been playing it. I also need to play the new operations that came out, Vortex, I believe. It is Chaos themed, but I do want to fight the new Chaos hero. Obviously, Pyroblast weapon as well. Pyroblast weapon is actually pretty fun. I'll dive into more of that. I'll do a whole video where it's just my Salamander using his Pyroblast, you know, make him look lore accurate. All right, that's enough talking for me for this video. Thanks for watching. Dorkspar signing off.